Hello and welcome to another episode of the Nostalgic Garden Podcast.
It's very nice to be here.
Yay! I'm joined with my wonderful mother, Caroline Tatham.
Hello.
Hello. So, I'm hoping everyone can hear us. We've suddenly got a big gust of wind and a very loud plane.
Lively.
It's all...
is that a helicopter, maybe?
It might be.
Sounds close, doesn't it?
As soon as we hit record.
It's like we seem to be like a magnet.
For noise.
Yeah, noise magnets.
Yeah. So, today we are situated in the gravel garden.
Oh, yes.
Which Mum chose the location.
Hang on, I can prove that.
There you go. Gravel noises.
Can you hear the gravel?
ASMR time. So I'm going to ask you, why did you choose the gravel garden as today's location?
Nice question. Well, it was conveniently close to the house.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's a hot day.
It is a hot day.
It is, especially in a gravel garden. It's kind of quite dry and sun-baked, although right at this moment, allegedly, according to the forecast, we're 1 hour away from rain, and that's how desperate I am. I am literally counting the hours, because we've just had no rain this summer, which has been very nice on one level, but not great for gardeners or gardens. And plants in the garden, which are normally, for years and years have been utterly fine, are just to say, right, that's it.
Really?
Yeah, I just was looking at a rose, just given up. Just too dry, so I always feel a bit guilty, like I should be looking after them more when that happens. So I always feel a little bit like I've sort of let them down, like children that I didn't give them enough packed lunch or something. Anyway, also it's the natural order of things, living things. It's a life cycle, isn't it? So I have to man up and accept that. But it was a bit sad this morning. But actually, relatively speaking, we've lost very little. Very lucky. I'm very glad that I didn't do a mass new planting, acres and acres of planting, because it's just bad luck if you put lots of plants in the ground and then we have a really dry season. It just, it's a lot of extra work and hassle. So luckily there wasn't anything sort of major that I had to plant, which some years there have been here, because all 9 acres is garden that I've created, so
amazing, isn't it?
It's all been nurtured from nothing.
Yeah, and designed as well.
And designed, so but sort of 16 years on, we're at a point where it's so much more self-reliant, which is wonderful. But this weather is exceptional. So
I'm just going to stop you. As we speak,
oh bless.
That's very sweet. We are sat next to a water trough in the gravel garden, and there is a beautiful, what's that pink thing?
Water lily.
Yep. Growing right in the middle, and Lottie, our lovely little half-track Russell half-chihuahua, she just stood up with her front paws. So she had her back paws standing on the ground, her front paws standing up on the water trough, like how a child sometimes hangs onto a counter.
Yes.
And she was just drinking it. It was very sweet.
Well, look, you've just been saying there's no water and how hot it is, so I need to have a drink. But yes, and then she was doing coughing and spluttering after that, so that might have picked up as well. I don't know. But yes, so that trough is just a farmer's zinc trough, which was originally intended for providing water for cattle.
Amazing, isn't it?
So they're very low tech, and they used to be really cheap, but people have cottoned on to the idea that they make really good planters and water features. So unfortunately the price of them is going up and up and up. The same thing happened to copper wash pots.
Oh, that's so specific.
It's very specific. But in Victorian times, they obviously they didn't have washing machines and all of that. So you had staff who did or you were the staff. So somebody was doing washing in a great big cauldron copper pot, which would be heated up and all the rest of it. And they were really common, and not particularly valuable. And then some clever person thought, ooh, they look magnificent with plants in them. Things like hostas, for instance, which slugs love to eat. Copper acts as a natural form of electricity when a slug crawls across it. It's the end of that slug. And in fact, even now you can buy copper sort of foil that you can put around the top of
Yes, that does
plant
ring a
pots.
bell actually. I feel like I've seen them in stores.
Yeah, hostas are caviar to slugs. So
Wow.
anyway, but so the point being, you know, way back when you could buy these copper pots for next to nothing because there were you imagine every household had one,
Yeah.
and there were loads of them. And then gradually, slowly but surely, they got more and more expensive, especially when they became fashionable. And a little bit of that is now happening to zinc troughs. So we're very lucky we had these here when we moved in. We've got a smaller one in the middle, which is like a water feature, and then one either side where we've literally punctured the bottom. It doesn't retain water because it's got plants in it, and you want drainage.
Yeah.
You obviously don't want the plants to drown.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've got one of my favourite geraniums, Geranium macrorhizonum, which is a fabulous geranium for a pot because it does equally well in shade and full sun. Or having said that, with the amount of sun we've had this summer, it is looking a bit scorched in places, and it's starting to get its slightly more autumn colour. It's actually overwintering, which is like the perennial form of evergreen. It's there all year, which is why it's great for a pot because it doesn't let weeds in. It's a lot less maintenance to do. But in the autumn, some of the leaves do colour these beautiful reds and pinks, and I think you're kindly going to put a photo of that on the weekly sheet.
Yes, I will.
Aren't you?
Thank
Which is
you.
great.
Thank you for bringing that up. As our wonderful viewers may know, if they're returning,
Listeners, just saying.
listeners, oh my goodness, I was really good last couple episodes. I haven't done it,
well,
but thank
never
you.
mind. Doesn't really matter. We know what you mean.
Listeners, our wonderful listeners may know if they're returning. That you can click the link in the podcast description where it'll take you to our website, and then on that website page there is a button where you can join Creative Space or our mailing list where you can download the weekly sheets for free. And the purpose of these weekly sheets is so you can see where we are in the garden, because there's multiple images of where we are currently sat recording this podcast, and Mum also put together a beautiful colour palette, so you can use those images as reference images for art if you want, and the colour palette.
And the nice thing about that, I think, is the coming together of two businesses. So I run a gardening school from my home, and we come into the garden a lot for that. And I've certainly learnt a lot myself and experimented with plants, and it's wonderful to share that. So there's that sort of gardening knowledge and background, but also the art business, Caroline Tatham Art. We use the garden as a source of inspiration.
Absolutely.
And that's what I love about this podcast. It gives us chance for our more arty audience to talk about the garden, because it does underpin everything that we do. We're so lucky to have this site.
Definitely.
And to live here, and it holds so many memories, doesn't it? Which is so wonderful. I don't know if you remember what this part of the garden was like before all the gravel happened. Possibly not, because it was quite one of the first things we did when we moved in 16 years ago. And where we're sitting now, we call it the side garden, don't we? Beyond the gravel garden, we think of this area as the sort of side garden. When we moved in and when we bought the house, this was the front of the house. So this would have been the front, and where we're sat now in our gravel garden, that was a car park with tarmac down, and the main drive came up to here. So you would have parked your car here. In fact, that's where we parked here when we came to view the house. So I remember it very clearly.
Oh, that's really weird. I don't like that. That stresses me out. It's like, no, that's not how it is.
Well, I can show you, because where the grass is growing in the side garden, it goes very yellow. Because I couldn't afford to excavate the car park properly, which is what you would do for a client, for a garden design client, or if I've got managed to save up some pennies, I could afford it. But we just bought the house, couldn't afford anything else. And so rather that car park's still there. I've just covered it up with some soil and clay, and then put grass on top. So what happens then is it dries out anyway most summers, but this summer it's it's super scorchio. So one day maybe I'll dig it up, but on the other hand, most of the year it looks fine. It saved a lot of disruption to the ecology of the site, and it saves a lot of money and hassle, so it doesn't really bother me.
Maybe there's some part of as you said, sort of the nostalgia and the history of the site.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know, some sort of like nice reflection on.
It's a nice way of looking at it. But when we moved in, I just thought that was then the side elevation, I just thought that's so much prettier, and I really wanted that to be the front of the house. So what we did was put in a new drive, and we had to get planning permission and list of buildings consent, but that went up to the side elevation, and effectively there, just by changing the landscaping, you've turned the house around.
Yeah,
which is
100%. Yeah.
It's fun, you don't remember it the other way around.
No, I don't at all. And just, as I said, just thinking about it, because it's, my home that I've lived in since I was like 3, so I can't remember anything else. That just kind of feels really weird to me, just imagining like parking at what to me is the side of the house, and where you shouldn't park. I don't know, that's just like, what?
No, and it all makes perfect sense, because we had to do some historical research as part of putting in for permission to do it. And what the architectural historian told us, it's very normal for the frontage of a house to face the road. So if you think where now the A38 is, that was always a big road going between Bristol and Gloucester.
Yes.
And so people put their posh side facing the road to show it off. Makes sense, doesn't it? You're not going to turn it round the wrong way, no one can see it. So that would have been the front, so it is interesting.
It does make sense.
Yeah, but now we've got our gravel, and one of the nice things about the gravel is really easy to weed.
Yeah, which
and
I
you
know.
do know that.
I haven't done it at all this year. I barely.
That wasn't a hint. Much.
No, do you know what? I did walk in here a while ago and I thought, I better do some weeding at some point. Do you know what? I find weeding really therapeutic.
Yeah, me
especially
too.
like you say in a gravel garden, because it's so much easier.
Yeah.
You just pull them out and it comes out so
satisfying.
Yeah, it's really satisfying. There's something very therapeutic about it. You pull one out and you're like, it's like a weight's lifted off your shoulders.
And also pleasingly, where things have self-seeded into gravel, and maybe you want to transplant them, or I want to keep them, because it's free plants. I can see there's some valerian there, the pink one. Can you see?
Yeah.
And there's some erigeron there, which is that very flat-looking daisy, little white daisies.
Oh, yeah.
Mexican fleabane is another name of it. Poor thing.
Not the prettiest of
No,
names.
well, I'm guessing it deters fleas.
Wow.
Which is rather fabulous, isn't it?
Cool.
And there's some echinops as well, that thistly looking thing. Not that one, that is a thistle. You don't want to touch that with your bare hands.
No, I know the round ball. Sort
yes,
of.
that's exactly. So all of those are plants that we can just transfer into the borders. They're worth having. And the nice thing about the gravel is you don't damage the roots too much.
Oh my God,
they
amazing.
pull out, because they pull out easily.
Oh, I was going to say, this is the same reason why it's easy to weed.
That's right, yeah.
Well, that's a question. Is that a thing? Do people ever purposefully put in a gravel garden, maybe on like a really big site, with the purpose of almost allowing things to self-seed?
Definitely.
And, is that like the reason why they have it, or is that kind of just a bonus?
It's a good question. I think every case is different. That's the joy of designing gardens. There's no one client, no two clients are the same, no two gardens are exactly.
Well, I suppose gardens are personal to you.
They're very personal, and just even your neighbour's identical looking garden is different to you, because the aspects could be slightly different, the shape of a tree, there's lots of variables, which is wonderful. So that could be definitely one factor. And I have definitely found there are some clients that kind of like the very informal look of planting in gravel. So it might not be specifically to make it self-seed, although that is part of what makes it look informal,
right?
Where things have self-seeded. But not everyone wants a real sharp edge to their planting.
Interesting.
They might love that sort of very natural. I mean, you could argue ours has got a bit too natural.
Well, it's your garden.
But I say to my students, there's no law that says all plants must be in a border. And there's something quite anarchic about allowing them to escape.
Definitely.
Because that's what nature does. So it does immediately give you a more naturalistic feel. Yeah. Which, lots of people at the moment are really into.
I was going to say, is that a more trendy, contemporary look?
I think so. I think so. Where you haven't got clear delineate edges.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think gravel can be formal, but it's more likely then to have an edging and to be more contained. The other brilliant thing about gravel, and we've done this in the school garden, is yes, you've got to do the weeding.
Yeah.
and
which is easy, as we've heard.
Which is easy. It's still, labour intensive, particularly because we don't use chemicals here.
Yes.
So some people would just spray that off, and if that's their choice, that's, I respect that. But it ain't great for the local ecology, particularly for frogs, amphibians, newts. Roundup and things like that are not great, and so we don't even spray our gravel drive, which is a big old area, too much to hand weed. So our wonderful friend Dan,
he's brilliant. We love Dan.
He's developed a machine specially, which is like a giant comb on the back of a tractor. He's made it, and he even painted it and everything.
Bless him.
And I think it's like a mini version of what a farmer would use, but he's done it on a smaller scale, so it's domestic. And he's scarifying and scraping all of our... And it worked brilliantly.
Drive.
It was a bit of an experiment, and we sort of weren't sure how it was going to go. But if you do it on a nice hot day, and it pulls up all the weeds by their roots, and the sun has killed them in a couple of hours.
I've seen it happen. It just dries them out.
Exactly.
It?
You don't even. We did clear some away last time because there was quite a lot, but most of them just kind of dry to nothing.
It's
they
awesome,
almost blow away by themselves. So that's been a big success. But the other, as I was saying about the school garden, the other big advantage of gravel gardens is there's such low maintenance. Yes, you need to do a bit of weeding for sure, but what you are potentially saving yourself from is the tyranny of having to mow every week. So we used to have lawn down in the school garden and then borders.
Yeah, I remember we spoke about
that. And that was a right old pain to mow in those sort of tricky areas and shapes.
Yeah.
And it was, we had to do it because you want the school looking nice.
Of course.
You don't want that looking a mess.
No.
So it was just a real pain to have to do it. But now with the gravel down, we don't have to do it at all.
Yeah.
I love lawn as much as the next person, but in some places it's just too fiddly to be worth bothering with. And gravel isn't exactly the same. It's not soft. You can't lie on it. It's not so good for playing frisbee with the dog. Lawn definitely has its uses.
Definitely.
But in tight, tricky spots, gravel can be a really good alternative.
Interesting. Also, I suppose it's kind of like that thing which we sometimes talk about, where it's quite nice to have like a break from something.
Correct.
Like I don't know if there's a particular way to sum this up succinctly, like maybe there's a word to describe this, but like we talk about, like, isn't there a particular song that you like or something where it goes, maybe I'm making this up, where it goes like kind of quiet, and then due to the quiet, like it like almost mutes or something, then you appreciate the music more. Have I made that up completely?
No, I don't think you've made it up. I know what you mean.
It's something like the balance of something being less makes you appreciate.
Well, I think what you're talking about is contrast.
Really.
That's it. And that's what contrast is.
Yeah.
Whether it's music or a delicious recipe or planting.
Exactly.
I think having the other makes
the other better.
Makes the apparent more interesting by contrast. So yes, I think punctuation, absolutely, because there's lots of things gravel bring. A change of sound underfoot.
That's true.
So if you're walking through a space, obviously it's very quiet over the lawn, over the grass, and then depending on the gravel you choose, some gravel is more noisy. So this is South Cerney shingle, which is my absolute... Who knew there was so much to say about gravel, just by the way? I hope everyone doesn't like your bloody gravel. Shut up about the gravel already. But there's a big dragonfly there.
I just saw it for a second.
It's like, it's too dry here, I'm off. South Cerney shingle's great because it's not too expensive. I mean, all gravels are expensive, but relatively it's not the most expensive. And it sits really well with Cotswold stone, and we've got Cotswold stone roof, so it looks good with, even though we've got a red brick house, it sort of sits with our house.
Oh, for sure.
And it's a much cheaper option than Cotswold chippings, which are what a lot of people in the Cotswolds lay down as gravel.
Yes.
And they're very seductive because it's that beautiful honey-coloured stone, and they tend to be quite angular shards of stone, so they fit together, so you don't get that beachy sound.
Right, that makes sense.
That you get with a South Cerney shingle is much more like...
you jump.
Sorry. And in fact, some people love that as a sort of early warning system. if someone's coming up to the house. It's almost like a security.
That's amazing.
You know, or certainly lets you know the postman's coming on a more positive note. So, whereas the Cotswold chippings, some people hate the sound of gravel. So, you know, Cotswold chippings might be more interesting for them. However, what I didn't realise, because when we first moved to the Cotswolds from London, I just fell in love, obviously, with Cotswold stone, and we were living in Minchinhampton. We had a big stone Cotswold house. And I just bought as much Cotswold chippings as we could and put it everywhere, and then realised I'd made a huge mistake because it's very, very porous.
Yes, I remember you saying.
And it's very crumbly and soft. So it has to really be replaced after only a couple of years.
That's insane.
Which is very expensive, because it's really expensive to start with. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But it's very dusty and it breaks down so it's not great for a drive.
No, a big area. Maybe
and a heavy car going over it.
Oh, that's true.
Even where you're just walking on foot, it will break down.
Wow.
And because it's so porous, what I found is where we had some lime trees in that garden, and they're famous for getting that sticky stuff. Like if you park your car under a lime tree, it gets coated in this sort of almost like sticky surface, and you'd think it was sap, and it kind of is, but the awful truth is it's aphid poo, actually, which is sap that's gone through an aphid and come out the other end. But and that's very normal. There's various trees that will happen. But because the Cotswold chippings were so porous, all that stuff stuck to them like glue. And then in the winter, any sort of, sort of impurities in the air, or muck and dirt just stuck to it, and basically the gravel goes black particularly in shady areas.
Oh my goodness!
It looks really unattractive. So
and that's Cotswold stone, is it?
That's Cotswold chippings, which are really expensive.
I was going to say, it's funny, isn't it? I'm guessing it's like a really big trendy thing, because on the surface it sounds lovely. And no offense to anyone who has Cotswold chippings.
And I've had it too and loved it at the
time. But it's interesting how expensive it is and how popular it seems for how many issues it has.
I know. I think a lot of things with gardening is people, me included, I'm terrible for this. We sort of we have a bit of a sort of knee-jerk reaction. We like something and we want it. We don't always think it through.
Well, that's just human nature.
And also I think we sort of lost lots of our knowledge about gardening, cooking, all sorts of things. You know, knowledge that was passed down through the family, through generations. We started relying more on retailers to inform us about things. And
maybe the RHS show gardens?
A little bit, I think. Absolutely. Certainly property developers will sort of maybe not do the garden. I would say this because I'm a garden designer, but do as good a job as perhaps they could, because they want to make money, aren't they? That's what they want. So they'll do the garden sort of cost effectively. You can't blame them for that, and it maybe isn't done as thoroughly as it could have been. But the good thing about those Cotswold chippings is it covers a multitude of sins, and it looks amazing just for the period when they're selling the house. And people don't realise a couple of years down the line maybe it won't look so great.
Interesting.
And you can replace it and top it up, but
it's expensive.
It's expensive, isn't it? Whereas, this South Cerney shingle, which we've got in the school car park, in the school garden,
the drive.
We've got it in the drive. We've got it here in this gravel garden. We haven't changed it for 16 years, and it looks it looks exactly like it did when it went down.
That's amazing.
Apart from the weeds, which for now I'm going to rebrand as wildflowers.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so, but I hear what you're saying. It's sort of by changing a surface on the ground in the garden, you sort of punctuate and you ring the changes, and it makes the journey around the garden more interesting.
Yeah, because then it makes you appreciate the lawn more, doesn't it? As we were saying, the contrast.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing which can be negative about gravel, depending on the size, so we call the size of gravel the gauge. So whether it's like pea shingle, tiny little bits, or great big chunks, like that's the gauge of the gravel.
What's the measurement? Is it like numbers? Would you say
it's
gauge
millimeters.
1? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so 6 millimeters.
6 mil gauge.
Okay, exactly. Cool. So depending on the gauge, you can track it into the house quite easily, and it has a very bad press from that, and understandably. So when we moved in here, there was lots of, it was granite, I think, I didn't put it down, but it was grey, and very small pieces.
Yeah.
And it was an absolute pain because it just wedged into your shoes.
Yeah.
And then you'd bring it into the house because it would unstick itself occasionally. And then you've got these really sharp, you know, so you'd hurt your feet if you trod on it, things like that. So that was annoying. Whereas with this South Sydney shingle, it's of a size that doesn't happen. But if that is an issue, a very good antidote to that is you can put stepping stones set into the gravel. So that, and if they're the same colour as the gravel, you don't even really notice them. But you can walk right up to your front door without tracking the gravel in.
Interesting, yeah. You've got like a runoff period.
Yeah,
almost.
It's a good halfway house.
Yeah.
Because one of the other benefits of gravel, particularly in that situation, is that it will massively increase drainage, which can be a real problem in modern life because we've got a lot more people with rather antiquated Victorian drains, which become easily overloaded when there's, I hate to say it, when there's rain. Not that I wouldn't wish that problem on anyone, and certainly not on ourselves. But you know, we ain't got that. We've got the opposite problem, haven't we, at the moment? But sadly, when there's a flash flood, what it can do, particularly if you have a lot of what's called hard standing. So if you put down a terrace. Or you know, a car park. Those hard standing areas are non-porous, non-absorbent, and so the water can't be absorbed in those places. Same with roofs. So wherever you're doing development, you're creating more floodwater, effectively, potentially, because you're providing a certain footage where no water can permeate.
Yes, I understand.
And so that water has to go somewhere else, and ultimately where it can end up is in the drains. And that can overload the drains, and then the whole thing can start backing up, and you've got a flooding situation. So permeable paving or permeable ground coverings are really preferred by local authorities because they help to take some of the pressure off that drainage system and allow the water more time to permeate into the ground, back into the water table where it's meant to be. And if you have that problem, what you can do is follow the advice of the very fabulous Nigel Dunnett.
Did we speak on him? No, we didn't.
Oh, maybe we did. I forget what we've talked about. But
is he the man? No, he's not. No, he's not at all. I thought he was the man who came up with the... in America, in Manhattan, the High Line. No, it's not him.
P2Dolph.
Yeah.
He is a different person, but it's not dissimilar sort of genre, and absolutely relevant to speak about them in the same context. So P2Dolph is the kind of master of modern planting, and yes, absolutely, he did the planting at the High Line and many other amazing private residences and public spaces, and he is incredible and has changed planting for us all. Is amazing. Nigel Dunnett is also really respected, another garden designer and actually a landscape architect, and he built a garden at Chelsea in, I believe it was, I'm going to say somewhere about 2008, 2010, or it could even have been 2011. It all merges a bit, doesn't it? But anyway, that sort of time. And that garden was called the Rain Garden, and it was all about addressing that issue. It had a container on it, which was turned into a little house or something, or some kind of structure, you know, like off a container lorry.
Yes.
One of those. And it was all about creating a rain garden. And what a rain garden is a temporary pond that collects all that emergency runoff water so that it can go there instead of into the drains. And you have it as a pond for as long as it's needed, and knowing it's going to dry out when the weather, and that's okay. And to sort of facilitate that, he created or recognised a category of plants called mesic plants. So they are plants that can tolerate extended periods of waterlogging without dying, because your average plant will drown after only a few days, whereas mesic plants can sit in your rain garden for months. But equally they're quite happy once that water's gone away.
Oh, brilliant.
So that book has been so useful to me, because we have clay soil here, which is anyway what we call retentive. It's made up of tiny little particles, and water readily coats these particles and doesn't flush through the soil quickly.
So it holds on to
moisture. So parts of our garden are quite waterlogged in the winter naturally. So understanding about mesic plants Lottie's
back
slurping
drinking.
away.
She's looking at me. She's smiling. Oh, bless
we should
her.
get a photo of her. She's
She
like,
just-
no, thank you.
She was drinking from the trough again, and then as soon as we started talking about her, she just quickly like popped back down. It was like really comical. It was really funny. She suddenly just disappeared.
She did. She's a comical lass.
She is.
She's a lovely dog.
Sorry, our clay soil. You were saying.
Yeah, so it's great that the rain. There's a book called Rain Gardens by Nigel Dunnett, and I recommend it really highly if you're interested in learning more about rain gardens. I always say it's very good for managing water in the garden, either not enough or too much.
Okay, perfect.
Because he talks about harvesting rainwater and things like that. So yes, and then the wonderful thing is that actual garden, which was at Chelsea at the flower show, is now at Slimbridge.
That's awesome.
Which is where we hang out quite a lot, don't we? So
well,
that's cool.
I am off to Slimbridge, and by Slimbridge we mean the WWT Slimbridge Wetland Centre.
Yeah, that's true.
Which...
I always just say Slimbridge, like everyone's going to know.
Well, no, quite a lot of people say, locally people say Slimbridge.
Yeah.
And we did mention Slimbridge, I think on episode 2 when we were talking about the veg beds. I think that was episode 2. Because we were saying that we've got a very good relationship with the WWT Slimbridge people, because we have exhibitions there with our artworks, and we have our art in the beautiful shepherd's huts. Anyway, so that's where Mum's referring to. And I'm literally off there today, later on, which is exciting, because I'm going to talk with the wonderful lady. Butterfly just went right in front. Is that a bee or a butterfly?
Butterfly.
Oh, good. It floated like a butterfly, and then I suddenly thought, hang on, is it a bee? Anyway, yes, I'm going to talk to the lovely lady in charge of the exhibitions.
And the shop?
And the shop to discuss
Can we give her a shout out?
Yes,
Lovely
Sue
Sue
Jones. I think it's Jones. We love Sue. She's awesome.
We love Sue.
Thank you, Sue. So yeah, I'm going to discuss our exhibition.
Very cool.
Which is happening in January.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over there with a tape measure, and I'm going to make sure. I'll let Mum know. Okay, we can have 40 A5 artworks or whatever. So
I better get painting.
All that interesting.
But I'm very
stuff.
excited because I'm starting a new style.
Yeah.
Which no one's seen yet, apart from you, I think, and your dad.
Yes, and we did talk about it a little bit. Your inks one,
yes.
Yeah, but no one's seen it yet.
So I've done 3 now, and it's going well. So it's wonderful actually. But it's always a bit of a quandary with what to keep about what I was saying previously with my art. I don't want to throw that away because I'm still very passionate about it.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, it's really good to challenge yourself to do something different and new. So so yeah, I'm really happy with how it's going, and it will evolve, and I like that. I'm trying to not be too controlling about it and to just let it unfold. So it's exciting, and I don't quite know where it'll be. But I hope to have a nice big collection of them done by January for the exhibition. So we're off to a good start.
Good.
It's July and we're off to a good start. So, and that's the nice thing about having an exhibition. It's something to look forward to, and it motivates you. Because you're thinking, I don't know. You think, well, I've got to get some done for this. Don't want a blank, empty wall.
No, definitely not.
And so I hope your meeting goes very well with
thank
Sue.
you.
You're driving out yourself.
Oh, honestly, I won't get into this because I'll talk forever. But yes, I'm a recent driver. I passed my test in February. I think it was the 28th. And I remember it was at 2:22 p.m. And when you could choose your date, there was a couple suggestions, like a couple dates you could choose, times even, and dates actually. And I saw there was a couple on whatever day I took the test, and one of the times was 2:22, and I thought, I absolutely
it's a message.
Have to do that. So I did, and that was my second test, and I passed second time.
I passed second time as well.
There you go. Yeah. My brother, oh no, he passed third time. I didn't do that on purpose.
Oops, did I say that?
My dad, I think he passed second time too.
I think so. I'm not entirely sure, but I would have said so. But I'm.
As we always say, all the best people pass second time.
Yeah, apart from you lovely listeners who passed first time, we're just jealous of you.
We're very jealous.
And if you haven't passed second time, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter at all.
Because nobody ain't going to ask you.
No.
It's just people like us ribbiting on talking about
we
it.
get to brag.
Yeah,
but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
It does, as long as you're safe, isn't it? That's all that really matters.
As long as you get there, if you want to get there, which I hope you don't mind me saying, you passed your driving test when you were my age-ish, is that correct? And then you sort of didn't drive for ages because you were living in London.
Yeah.
And then you sort of effectively, like, kind of remembered how to do it.
Yes, I think, not quite that, I mean pretty effectively, yes. I think I passed when I was about, in my kind of early 20s.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, well you're 19,
well,
I forget.
19,
to me you're still, how dare you be, yeah, so it was similar to your age, sorry, yeah. Absolutely. And then yes, absolutely, I lived in London for years, and
you don't need to drive.
For me, my lifestyle, the car was a liability really, because you have public transport everywhere, and if you have a car, it just gets, or for me, it just got nicked and
stolen. You've got to pay road tax.
So then when I produced babies, I had to effectively.
It's a funny way of saying it, when I produced babies.
My wonderful babies, I had to learn again really. And take lessons, and the very first lesson I took, I was shaking like a leaf and almost like hyperventilating, because somehow I turned it into a big deal in my head, and it was fine. Luckily I had a very nice instructor, and it was fine. I mean, I'd already passed the test, so I was taking lessons not to pass the test.
Yes.
Because I just had passed the test in my early 20s, just hadn't driven since.
Yes.
So that took a lot of pressure off. I was just learning for safety and
absolutely.
my
just
confidence really. But I was very glad I had the lessons again after that big break.
Yeah.
But that was before there was a theory test.
Oh, you lucky, lucky.
Thought I'd rub that one in.
Yeah, because how old? So you must have been about 40, right?
Yeah.
Because that's when you had me.
Yeah, so probably, literally like 42, something like that.
Wow, so that wasn't that long ago, really. So I think you kind of just got in there before the theory. I don't know when the theory started.
No, probably.
All, but I think
sense.
It wasn't much after that, which is interesting.
Amazing. Yeah. Time's so weird, isn't it?
Time is
especially
crazy.
At the moment. It's just going so quickly. We heard a funny thing. I don't know if we've already talked about this, but somebody's saying it's Friday again.
Yeah.
Did we already talk about that?
We might have done. I can't remember, but it is. But although today it's Monday,
I know.
Confusing.
But the weeks are just absolutely going by. It's incredibly.
Oh, it's quite frightening.
Yeah.
Really, it's a rapid pace.
It is a rapid pace, and it gets quicker as you get older. I know we said that before, but it really does. Yeah.
I'm worried how quick it's going to feel. I think in this period of history, for some reason, time is going super duper fast, but I'm really worried because I'm only 19 and the weeks, like 1 week, 7 days feels like about 3 days. So I'm like, oh my god, when I'm like mum's age, it's going to be the blink of an eye.
It really does though. It really does. Which is good in some ways when there's something you want to get over.
Yeah, for sure.
That goes quickly. I see we've been graced by the presence of Milo.
Milo!
He doesn't like the gravel.
No, it's hard
prickly.
on his little tiny gentle paws.
So Milo's our Chihuahua.
Yes.
And we should really call him King Milo.
Yes.
Because he is rather regal.
He's a classic. We have spoken about it before, and we try and mention him every single episode. I think we're doing quite well so far. Yeah, he's your classic Chihuahua. He thinks he's the most important creature in the world, and you know what? He's right. He is to us. We love him
he's
so
like
much.
90% narcissistic personality disorder,
but
isn't
we
he?
Love him,
but we love him. But we love him. We do love him. I wouldn't change him.
Milo. Oh, he's.
No. You call him and he goes the other way. It's like sod you.
I'm busy. I've got rats to hunt down.
Exactly.
Ooh, very random, super duper random.
Yeah.
When I was driving, yesterday after seeing my wonderful friend Melissa, we went to the beach. It was awesome. It was like 30 something degrees, low 30s, but it was hot, and that's degrees centigrade, by the way, or Celsius. Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Not Fahrenheit. Because that'd be cold. Anyway, driving back home, I was driving through Bristol, and I saw a fox, which was lovely to see.
What was it doing?
It was kind of dusk.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've never seen a fox. No, that's not true. I was about to say in daylight. I think I've seen the odd fox in the garden, but quite fleetingly.
Yeah.
Sort of from
it's
quite
usually
a great
the beginning
distance.
or the end of the day, isn't it, with foxes?
That's true, actually. Yeah. Anyway, so because I was driving, it was just on the side of the road and it was quite happy to be there. So I did get quite a good look at it. And it was just sort of sniffing around really, but it was a really beautiful sight to see. I think maybe foxes are sort of smaller than, in my imagination, they're a lot bigger. So it was either I've misremembered and it was a normal sized fox because they're bigger in my imagination for some reason, or it might have been maybe like a teenager.
Yeah,
maybe.
that would make sense because I think they have their, I don't know if they are litters or what, they have their young
jinx
in the spring, so it kind of would make sense that that it's
growing up.
Yeah, the teenager. I'm guessing the males are bigger than the females are smaller as well.
Yeah, maybe it was
maybe.
a
I don't
female.
know that that's true. Yeah. It quite often is true, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that reminds me, I had a wonderful, magical time in the polytunnel, which could well have been about a year ago. Actually, I'm not sure. And I went there really early because it was the summer. And it gets so hot. Can you imagine at the moment?
No, I can't.
It's like hot enough to melt plastic.
Yeah.
Really, it's a bit depressing actually because it's too hot in there.
Yeah.
But
are the plants doing okay, or do they need
some,
quite a lot of attention?
I have planted with the expectation it's going to get maybe not this hot.
Yeah.
But what we're very lucky that we've got a pump that takes water out of our ponds and we can irrigate there.
Yeah.
So that definitely helps. But there was this one particular summer morning, I think last year. And it was really early because that's the best way to get anything done in the summer is you go in super early
before it's too hot.
Before it heats up, exactly. And I think I'd just walked in and there was a fox cub. Or a teenager. It was like a lanky teenager.
Yeah, that's what I saw. Yeah.
And it just didn't see me for a couple of minutes. And it was just mucking around, having a sniff, and doing some pouncing. It was just, and then all of a sudden it saw me and it ran off. But it was really magical. It really was.
Absolutely beautiful.
Less magical when they took all our chickens, I would say.
I know, multiple times. Oh, I don't even know how many.
Oh, the last chickens, we had them for, I would say, 5 years or.
Really?
Yeah, honestly.
Oh my God.
A lot longer than you think.
I kind of lost track because we've kind of lost so many. But this is over like my entire. I think my whole life we've had chickens.
No,
really,
they lasted a really long time because they have their house and their run and
yeah.
And I don't know how the fox got in, but of course, annoyingly, they just kill them all.
Yeah.
Even though they only eat one.
Greedy.
I know, they just get too overexcited, I think.
It's interesting, isn't
finish them off. So that was the end of all the chickens. So
yeah.
We haven't replaced them, not yet anyway.
Are we planning to?
I would like to. I'd like to really get some battery hens, give them a nice life. It would be nice, wouldn't it?
It would be nice.
Yeah, I don't know if even there are battery hens anymore. I'm guessing, unfortunately, there probably are.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure people do. We should look into that, shouldn't we?
Into it.
Yeah.
We used to have bantams, which were really lovely.
Yes,
They're so cute. Are they the ones with the fluffy feet?
Well, they're smaller, certainly, and they do have quite feathery feet.
Do they have especially feathery feet?
I think they do have more feathery feet. Yes, I think you're right. But there's different breeds even within bantams because there's. I've forgotten it now. I used to know all the names, but there's.
Yes, there was one particular sort of air quotes.
It almost can't see where it's going because it's so feathery. It's just like a kind of. Looks a bit like Big Bird from Sesame Street. They're kind of shrunk down.
Or a poodle, but chicken form.
Exactly. It's an interesting. But no, when you were very little as a child, you used to love the chicks. We used to.
Oh.
Can you remember the chicks hatching?
Yes, I do. Right, I don't think I've told this story. I have this amazing fond memory. This is one of my very early memories, and I don't know, there was something really special about this, and I do think about this every so often. It just fills me I can even feel tears in my eyes. It just fills me with so much joy, and it's in a child, and it's so wholesome. I don't know, it's so simple, but it's so beautiful. Basically, my brother and I were working together on something because my lovely brother, who I love very much, he's a bit of a lone wolf. He likes to sort of keep himself to himself. So when I was younger, I'd usually bribe him to play with me. I'd say, I'll give you a chocolate if you play with me in the pool for 10 minutes, please. Or I'll tell Mum. I'll tell Mum if you don't play with me, please play with me. And so I finally got him to play with me. And so we'd had some, must have been the springtime. I, by the way, was around maybe 8-ish. So it was the time where there was lots of chicks, and we were building little houses for them. I remember we had a big spade, and I've even got photos on a digital camera which I had at the time, which is partly why I remember well, because I've got such a bad memory. So yeah, we had lots of leftover red bricks from the house, I think, and maybe building like walls or something, like outdoor walls. And we would like dig a little sort of circular...
Like a moat.
Yeah, but then we would turn that into the chickens. What?
Sorry to interrupt you.
Rain. I felt rain.
I feel the need to celebrate. I can't see a single cloud in the sky, so I don't know where the heck that came from. And I have a feeling there won't be many more. But sorry to interrupt your flow. But
no, I can see them.
Way!
Mum literally put her hand like towards me and said, "I'm gonna stop you." And she like put her palm out like, "Stop!" I was like, "Oh, okay." Very excited. Rain.
Sorry.
We might have to even.
Sadly, I don't think we'll have to.
No.
Yeah, it would be nice if we did, but no. I think unfortunately it's
blue sky, which is confusing.
Yeah,
isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, sorry.
I'll just wrap up my lovely chicken story.
Yeah, apologies.
So not a problem at all. Basically, we would dig little sort of circular trench things, and then with our red bricks, which we had spare, we would build these walls around them, and we literally made like a mini chicken village. And
Chickenopolis.
Yes, and it was so fun. And I remember it was really warm weather, and it was just really good fun. And there was just this one particular moment which I just loved so much. I'd been digging loads and putting the wall together. No mortar, by the way, just because why would an 8-year-old put mortar? It was just loose bricks, whatever. It worked. I did stack them nicely though. You know how bricklayers do.
Yeah, very cool.
Anyway, so yeah, it was quite warm, and I laid down because I've been doing a lot of digging, and I closed my eyes, and it was really sunny and lovely, and then it was so sweet. One by one, all the chicks and the mother were walking in a single filed line, and they walked over my stomach. And it was so lovely because I had my eyes closed, and I just felt these really light it sounds like I'm making this up. I remember this. Maybe I did dream it. I don't think I did. I think it was real.
I think absolutely.
One by one, I just felt these really light chicks just walking on my stomach, and they were walking from their sort of hutch to the little village that me and Adam had made. And then really light stepping, and then right at the end there was this big chicken, the mother, and it was just such a simple, wholesome moment, but it was just really lovely.
So did they go into the village you'd made, or?
I can't remember.
No. And
I don't think, not really.
I don't know if I've imagined it, but I think maybe Adam filled the moat up with water. Was that a thing, or?
That sounds likely. I can't remember, I'm afraid.
He always loved playing with water.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so happy you've got that childhood memory. That's wonderful.
It's just one of those, like, it's so simple. It's literally just chickens walking over my stomach, but it was just kind of very, I don't know, connecting with like nature and inner child, and it felt very sort of Little House on the Prairie, and I don't know, it was just really lovely.
I was trying to remember some of the names of was there one called Snowball?
Snowball, I knew you were going to say that. Yes, there was. I think.
And she wasn't white.
I know. That's what I was going to say. I think when she was a chick, like
she
all
was
chicks,
yellow.
I think I'm right in saying all chicks are yellow to start off with. I'm sure
don't
I'm
know.
mistaken, but maybe all the chicks we had were yellow when they started off. Yeah, I called it Snowball. Ironically, she ended up being as black as the night. Like it was beautiful.
It was
but
ironic.
It was not Snowball
it's like Snowball.
Snowball was my favourite. So I can remember that name. I don't think I can remember any others.
Unfortunately, I think Snowball went the way of the fox in the end.
Yeah, I think I knew at the time, actually.
Yeah. I guess it's a way of children learning about this sort of cycle of life.
Yeah, I don't remember being traumatised by it at all.
No.
I think I was just like, oh, that's a bit sad.
Yeah, it was part of life,
I'll
wasn't
tell you
it?
what, I do remember that we did, we would occasionally play with the chickens in the house, just for like 10 minutes at a time. They weren't running rogue around the house. But I do remember Adam, my brother, had this tiny little, what was it, like a fire engine type toy
that he rode on. It was a sit-on one.
Oh, yes, it is that one. Maybe I'm mixing this up. I can't remember. It was either that or like just a big toy car thing that you didn't sit on. I can't remember. But I would put the chicken sometimes they were fine. They didn't care. Don't worry, I wasn't abusing them. But the chickens, I would put them on like these car things, these toy car things, and I would just sort of very gently push them around the house. I don't think they seemed to mind that much, but I remember doing that. That was really fun.
Oh, amazing. Well, it's interesting, isn't it, what people actually remember from their childhood, because so much happens, but it's just certain things really stick in your in your memory.
Definitely.
Whether they're sort of extreme emotion, I suppose, when you're really enjoying something, or
exactly.
it's really exciting.
I'm sorry, I'm sure there was many times you took me to do very exciting activities,
but that's,
what's in my mind is the chickens.
But that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you can take someone to some posh, expensive, hotel in London, but what you actually remember is just digging up a bit of mud in the garden with some chickens.
Literally,
which is wonderful. And spending time with your brother, because he is does like to do his own thing, and he still does, doesn't he? So therefore it's very special when he does do something.
Exactly.
Which is
contrast,
really nice.
like gravel with
gravel with lawn.
Yeah, hey Adam, you're like gravel.
Yeah, exactly. Which one's the gravel? Which one's the lawn?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, the sun's come out again. Oh no, I think I felt 4 drops.
I felt a similar amount.
That's 4 more drops than we felt for about 2 months. So then it's forecast again. I'm sorry, I am filling out the ultra cliche of an English person just talking about the weather, but we are a bit desperate, because the other thing that happens with clay soil, and when we went round the garden earlier, I was noticing, is that you start to get cracks forming in the ground, and there's cracks at the moment you could fall down. It's like this, so it's so ridiculously dry.
It's a shame, isn't it?
I'm going to do my little rain dance.
Yeah, wow, Mum did the rain dance on the Ranganation.
I did.
Which was I think we maybe mentioned a TV show Mum was on just before and during COVID, actually. I remember we did series 2 on Zoom.
Yes,
and
that's true.
What was really nice about that is I wasn't able to come with Mum for series 1, where she did her rain dance.
Yeah.
You can look it up.
Please don't.
But series 2, it was all on Zoom, and it was very sweet. Mum let me just sit sort of just out of view of the camera, and it was great, because I've always been interested in sort of theatre and film and everything. I used to go to the Bristol Vic Theatre School, which have many fond, wonderful, amazing,
but not as good as the
memories.
chickens.
Well, on par with the chickens.
The chickens must be supreme.
No, it's a similar thing.
Chicken supreme is a dish. Don't mention chicken supreme.
No, the old Vic was similar in that it was. What we did was quite simple. We just did like really fun, like drama games, and it wasn't that complicated, like with the chickens. And because of that, it sort of birthed a lot of wonderful memories. So I do actually, ironically, put it on a similar vein to the chickens.
Nice.
Anyway, what I was saying is I had an interest in theatre and film and whatnot. So I was really happy to just sit behind the camera and see how, because the Ranganation was like a proper TV show type thing. So it was just
BBC
really,
2, I think, wasn't it?
something like that. It was just really interesting to just see how they worked, and I remember it was really cool. This was like start of COVID, I'm pretty sure, like right at the beginning. And do you remember they sent us a box?
Yeah, it was very exciting.
And it was so exciting.
We had to give it all back.
We
which was
did.
Really...
It was terrible. But they sent us a ring light and I think maybe even a MacBook.
It was a MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a microphone.
Yeah.
And some face powder. That was my favourite bit.
Excuse me, rude.
And the bit I was allowed to keep that with this really lovely poof, like fat padded, proper professional putting powder on,
fun.
Which I'm still using actually. But of course, hygienically, you couldn't send that back. They said, you can keep that. So I did get that out of it, which was very nice.
Well, there you go.
But no, it was fun doing that. And you did some things with me actually in the garden, didn't you, for that?
Yes, we filmed one thing which they didn't keep.
Because you were 14, I think, or you're a bit too young or something, they realised.
No, that's what we assumed that. We never got confirmation,
No.
and that could absolutely be the truth, but I think it's just because I wasn't on the show, but I wanted to be on the show. So what did we film? We filmed, it was, they did this segment called Lockdown Fashion, I think
Yeah.
that's what it was. And
We were dressing up with bits of the garden,
yeah,
plants.
it was Mum's wonderful idea. Mum created these beautiful sort of sashes.
or kind of like feather boas, but made with roses.
Yeah, that's
prickly. Ouch!
It was a bit prickly, but it was beautiful though. And we
did a fashion catwalk show, didn't we?
Literally, like in the garden, as if it was a runway. And lovely Mum let me be in it, but because I was in it and I wasn't actually in the show, I think they cut it out because they were
But
like,
I think
"Who's
you
this?"
were included in the.
Well, I was going to say, however, thank you. I was included very momentarily, and I think they even sped it up. We did like an assault course, and I can't remember.
I can't remember why.
I have no idea.
No,
it was probably lockdown exercise.
Yeah, probably.
Probably something
that was
like
the
that.
Constant theme, wasn't it?
Which is understandable. So there you go. I did feature.
You were in the show.
A tiny bit.
Yeah, you were. Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You were.
But it was really interesting just to see how they did it all.
It was.
And that was only on Zoom, which is obviously 1% of the whole picture. Did you find it? I know you've done TV stuff before.
Yeah.
Was it
not in a studio?
Experience?
It was the first in studio experience I'd had.
Series 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
And being in the sort of really famous. I think they've released it all out now. But it's like Television Centre, which was the sort of heartland of BBC, certainly when I was growing up. So it's that big round building with, BBC on it. And, so much of the television I watched as a child would have that, as the context or in the credits or,
Amazing.
So just walking up to that building felt kind of weird, having sort of seen it so many times on television. And then it just felt amazing just going into that space and then being part of it was a very lovely thing to be part of, actually. So professional and just, lots of really nice people.
Good.
All a bit overexcited.
Yes.
And
the people on the show with
yes,
you?
because it's reality telly at the end of the day, and it was sort of dressed up as being a bit more highbrow because it was, Ramesh Ranganation, who is really funny, asking the questions, and it was sort of slightly political, but mostly it was just reality television of people doing silly things, with comedians, proper comedians, sort of commenting. And my sort of persona was Green Fingers, so you didn't have. I wasn't Caroline Tatham. I was just Green Fingers. So anything that came up that was related to gardening, of course, that was my thing.
Yeah.
But I think my proudest moment of the show, because one of the weird things about doing that kind of reality television is, of course, they film 1,000 times more than they're going to use in a half-hour show or whatever it was. And so you never quite know what's going to make it to the edit. So you send stuff in, and you prepare for it. And I'd have to tell them what I was going to wear, and I'd have to show them a photograph.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
they sort of curated what you were wearing. I guess to check there's no glare on the television and to make sure you're not wearing something identical to someone else. I don't know. So, and in the television centre there would be dresses there. You'd take an outfit along, or one or two outfits. And so all of that's very prepared, as you'd expect. But certainly, especially with the filming at home, you know that you're being filmed for, I think it was 4 hours. It was a long time.
It was a long time. I actually remember I was playing Minecraft.
It was a long
But
time
listening
because and out of all of that they were only going to use half an hour plus all the bits people were sending in. So it was always really weird then watching the actual show as to what's been edited in. And it was quite exciting if you'd been chosen.
Yeah.
But I think it does sort of encourage people to be a bit silly, probably me included, because it's quite competitive. And I'm sure they do that on purpose to some level, that, you want to say the funny thing or the slightly, shocking thing.
Yeah.
Because you're more likely to be in the show. And you're not being paid to... Oh, we did get paid. I think I got like 200 quid an episode. So it wasn't a huge amount, but still,
Was your travel cost covered?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember is the honest thing. But I certainly wasn't out of pocket.
Yeah.
But I wasn't earning a fortune, compared to like the stars who are on the show. I'm sure
yeah.
they're earning a lot more. But so I think that I did decline the third. I was invited back for the third series.
I remember.
And I did decline it because I just felt it was bringing out in some people. You know, but who am I? God, that's the name of the game, isn't it? And it's not for me to criticise. That's reality telly. And if you're going to do that, you've got to expect it. But I did really enjoy doing it for the first 2 seasons, and then I just sort of felt I'd done enough.
Anymore.
Yeah, then no hard feelings whatsoever, and it just made a space for someone else who I'm sure enjoyed it as well. But it was funny. But anyway, my proudest thing, which again I sent off and thought, I wonder if they'll use it, and they did.
I know what this is.
Whereas of course when we first went into lockdown, everyone was mad about baking, weren't they? Everyone, me included, and especially thought, right, I've got time to bake bread, and it was something I'd always wanted to do.
Everyone did. I don't know why everyone chose bread.
I know,
true.
it's funny. Anyway, I discovered I was quite good at it, having sort of been rather terrified of it, because we always talk, don't we, about when you were at the Steiner School, which was a wonderful school in many ways, but a little bit judgy if you didn't make your own bread. So at the time I just paid someone to make it for me, because I just didn't have time or the inclination.
You were busy building a
But I'd
business.
sort of always felt a bit secretly guilty about that. So it was lovely to have the time to. Anyway, so I taught myself to make sourdough bread.
It was delicious,
and it was all right actually.
I remember
it was all right.
Yeah, it was great.
So this particular week, I don't know what made. I think I knew that on the show they were going to be talking about bread making. I made Ramesh's head out of bread, obviously.
Head bread.
Right down to the fact that he was always joking about having a slightly squiffy eye. That's like his thing. So I even did that with the eyes, and I made it very much him.
Yeah.
And I've baked it, and it baked fine, and I photographed it and sent that in. And I thought, oh, they'll never use it, but they did. It was on the show, and I was really pleased, because that was something I'd made. It was quite nice to have that.
That was
featured.
definitely a highlight. I remember that. I remember there was a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
I think I remember literally what you were just talking about: sitting down, watching the episode live. Because obviously we don't get to see the episode beforehand. We see it when everyone else sees it.
Yeah.
And I think I even remember when we were like, "Yay, they mentioned the bread."
I think I might have imagined this, but I think they showed it like a split screen. And they had the bread on one half of the screen, and his face looking a bit.
I'm pretty certain.
With him looking slightly, as Ramesh does. He does that brilliant kind of pissed off, disgruntled face.
Yeah.
And everybody really laughed. So I was very proud of that actually.
So well done,
thank you. Yeah, I might make some bread this week actually.
Ooh, what kind of bread? Sourdough? Did you think? Or
well,
I'm only saying that because that's my favourite.
I know it's the problem with it, because I'm on this keto diet, is I'll want to eat it, and we've got some lovely low carb bread.
Can you make low carb?
Well, I'm sure
bread?
you can. Yes, you use physalis, I think. And,
I wonder if it's harder to make.
Well, I've got various flours, so it'll just be different. I'm sure it's so yeah. Maybe I will have a go. The other thing I was going to talk about. And I'm not sure we're allowed to talk about it yet. So
I felt a drop of rain.
Hey! Hang on. Look, it's
Get dancing, Mum! Get up!
In my mind, I am dancing my head off. Was the recording that we did for a future podcast?
Yeah.
Can we talk about that now? Is that okay?
Maybe very briefly, because we haven't quite ironed everything out yet.
Let's not talk about it.
But we've got a special guest coming on in a month or two.
Yeah.
Very randomly, changing the subject, I got stung by a bee this week.
Oh, no.
Poor old Mum has heard me moan about this for the last week, and she's probably sick of hearing about it.
It's horrible.
But the funny thing about that is, I mean, it's not that funny, because it's summer, obviously, there's a lot of bees around, but poor old Mum got stung on the back by a bee, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
And guess what? It occurred to me, just after we sat down, it literally happened where I'm sitting.
Oh my God.
Literally on this spot, that's where I got stung.
Ooh,
So
well,
sorry.
touch wood.
I know.
Ooh,
I guess because
blimey.
we're near the water trough, I imagine. That's
to
probably.
be around
Well, everything
water.
needs water, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
I suppose so.
And I think they like it because there's lily pads. What can happen with bees, if there's no foliage in your pond, is they can drown very easily. Whereas if there's something they can land on.
Makes
sense, doesn't it?
Yes, they need a bit of a security blanket.
Yeah. So I don't know why I was in such a bad mood. It stung me. I wasn't doing anything. Well, I do know, actually. Sorry, I've totally usurped your story.
No, not
it fell
at all.
down my T-shirt.
Yeah.
Very innocently, and didn't mean to. And
No.
I was faffing around trying to get the T-shirt off. And
Well,
of
like
course,
anyone would.
that's when you get stung, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's an interest. Not that I'm judging you at all, because I would be the exact same. But that feels like quite an interesting, almost spiritual, one could say, not lesson, but interesting idea that the moment that you're like, oh, I don't want to get stung, I'm trying so hard not to get stung.
Yeah, you manifest it.
Yeah, which is quite interesting. Whereas I would do what you did times 50, so I'm not judging you.
No,
but
no.
it's interesting if you were to just sort of let it be.
Let it be, let it be. Do you think if we get a pet bee, should we call it Let It?
Yes!
Oh, mine
Do you
is
have to
here.
rent the bee?
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting a bit silly now.
We are.
Anyway, it's interesting because if you let the bee be, then maybe it wouldn't sting.
Yeah.
So it's
No, I
interesting.
think there's a lot of truth in that. Also, I agree, it's a metaphor, isn't it?
It is a metaphor,
yeah,
isn't it? So
it is.
anyway, long boring story. My foot is finally back to normal now, but yeah, I got stung by a bee on Tuesday, and then on Sunday evening it was just about back to normal. So almost a whole week. My foot was so fat, and it was really itchy and really uncomfortable. But it was not the bee's fault; it was my fault because I accidentally stepped on it. Because I was playing frisbee with the golden retriever Maisy, so I was trying to do a nice thing.
She loves frisbee.
She honestly, she's
crazy.
mad for frisbee, and I thought maybe this is just like she likes playing with toys because we don't often play with her with toys. We usually just sort of run around the garden with her. So I did even throw like a different toy. It was like a squeaky ball type thing. I threw that
as an experiment.
literally while we were playing frisbee. I threw that. No interest. She ran up to it. She literally looked at me and said, "This isn't a frisbee." And she was just
What kind of fat frisbee is that?
fat, spiky. She was like, "No."
No.
And then I threw the
You
frisbee.
know, give me the good stuff.
Yeah,
you know what I like.
I know you've got it. So I threw the frisbee, which is a bit of a tongue twister to say. And then she just went berserk again. She's frisbee crazy.
She is.
What's really lovely is Mum got this. She is particular in her frisbees because Mum got this one particular blue flexible silicone.
That's right.
Thank you. Sort of a little bit smaller than your average, just a bit frisbee, and it's from this shop that we absolutely adore.
So love it.
We
And
could talk about that shop for
We could.
hours.
Other than I can't say the name of the shop.
It's
Danish, and it means green sisters, or the sisters green,
Yeah.
as in the surname Green.
Yes.
But in Danish, so it's I'm not
I
even
can't
going
say
to
it, no.
not even going
No,
to
me
embarrass
neither.
myself by trying it. But
But it's this like
Oh,
wonderful,
it's beautiful.
stationery homeware, and everything is so affordable but done so nicely. I don't understand how they make a
prints are
profit.
gorgeous
Oh,
and-
we've got so much. Anyway, it's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful shop.
with a pattern. Oh, the frisbee with a pattern on it.
The pattern has a so this frisbee came from that shop with a lovely pattern on it. And Mum had ordered multiple things from that wonderful shop. It is starting to properly rain now.
Yay!
And yeah, the frisbee was one of those items. So we threw it for Maisy, and she just went mental. She loved it. She loved it. She loved it. So then a couple.
And
weeks,
of course, what she loves, she must destroy by
I
chewing it
know.
up.
So she started. Thank you. She started to chew it up a little bit. So then, lovely Mum bought, I think, 5 more from this shop, and
They were like £2 each or something.
yeah, they were really cheap. But it was really sweet. I threw the first of the new set of frisbees for her, and then I had all the others in my hand behind my back. And then I threw the second one, and she was like, "What? There's more! They're multiplying!" And then I threw the third one, and then I threw the fourth one. She was like, "Oh my god!" She just went insane.
Bless her.
So yeah, she's a frisbee fan. However, in between Mum buying the first frisbee and then her buying the 5 more, in between that time, you just bought a couple from Amazon, didn't you?
Yeah.
Not interested.
No.
It has to be this particular frisbee.
When they stop making them, we're going to be,
She's gonna be so
she's be heartbroken.
sad.
Yeah.
Yes, because you bought like a lovely
Like a hard, rigid
hard,
one.
I think it's
Old
like
school.
American,
Yeah.
ultimate frisbee.
Kind of frisbee I grew up with. If it gets you on the back of the head, it'll knock you out.
Yeah, and it's quite fun for humans to play.
Yeah.
She's not a fan.
No.
It's
Too hard.
Too hard in the mouth. You can't like chomp it nicely.
Yeah.
It's no, she does actually. She sometimes doesn't realise it is the hard one, so I'll throw it towards her gently, and then she'll go to bite it midair, and then she'll go ah. She won't make that noise, but she'll sort of.
Oh, she might do.
She might do, but she'll sort of be a bit like ah, what was that? And a bit sort of taken aback by it. She's like, hang on, you're trying to hurt me. I'm like, no, it's just a frisbee, Maze.
Now I'm going to suggest. I'm delighted to say
Yay!
that we should go in.
Exactly.
Because it's raining.
It's raining.
I'm
it's
looking
pouring.
at the phone and it's absolutely covered in raindrops.
Yeah.
So I'm one happy lady.
Yay!
Yay!
If we look at a rose, we could start to sing raindrops on roses.
We could.
And whiskers on Milo, because Milo's right there.
Yeah, he doesn't like the rain. He's not a fan.
No.
Brilliant. Well, I'm going to. Should we
Well.
draw to a close?
Yes, thank you for that, Mum.
Oh, thank you,
I
my
had a
darling.
great time. I think
I always love talking to
we
you.
were a little tiny bit extra silly this episode, which I liked.
Yes.
I think we let ourselves loose.
I think we could feel the rain coming.
Yeah.
It's got to our head.
Excitement,
Yes.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to wrap it up very quickly because it's starting to come down. So
I'm-
thank you.
Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah!
Yay! Thank you so much to our listeners for listening. If everyone could be so kind, if you enjoyed this episode, please do feel free to recommend it to a friend. And depending on what platform you're listening to, we'd be very appreciative if you gave it a like, or downloaded it, or added us to your... I can never think of the right word. Your other podcasts, like, rate,
Subscriptions.
subscribe. It depends what platform. All that good stuff. We would be very appreciative if you want to hear us again. So, yes, feel free to check the description for links for the show notes with more information of what we talked about. And I think with that, we'll say goodbye for now.
Bye. Thank you for listening.
Bye.